the Great Harmony Sentinel Mod Spotlight, Lizardmen and Tomb Kings. In this video, we will be looking at the unique units added to the Lizardmen faction and the Tomb King faction. We'll be checking out stats, how they look, and obviously, of course, showing off some combat. Please devour the like button and the subscribe button so you don't miss any future spotlights. We are starting off strong for the Lizardmen. This is a large flying monster for their faction that can also be used as a mount for a couple of units. And I've got to say, I'm a really big fan of this. I love the red on it. I like the skinks on the back with the spears, even if they are kind of oddly leaned over a little bit. But overall, I like the armor. Even if this thing does have the ugliest jawline I've ever seen on a monster. But overall, I give it. I think this is a great unit. I think it adds some flexibility to the Lizardman faction and just kind of adds more monsters. Even though the mount on here, as you can see, is broken, as the Lord or Hero does not show up on the top, I still wanted to show it off to where you could see what it looks like as a mount. And I do really like the design, and I do think this would be a really cool addition for those to have as an option. So I'm still a really big fan, just no combat showing off because it's the same unit. Croxagores with skinks on their back. When I first seen this, I was like, okay, this is going to be a joke unit. Actually, it's pretty good in combat. They go in melee, and then they will throw their spears in the middle of the attack. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1. I think this adds a lot of viability, and I would definitely run this unit in my armies. Just super big fan. The coloring, I don't like the green as much. I kind of wish there was less green and maybe a different tone of green than the dirty one you see here. So the coloring's a little off to me, but I do like the unit. If you can't tell, they really like to add skinks on the back of units in this mod. But overall, I've got to say, I love the coloring on these salamanders. They look really, really good. Their range attack, too, has a different coloration to it, so it looks phenomenal in combat. You might have got a sneak peek of that at the beginning of the video. But overall, I've got to say, I really enjoy this unit. I think it's great. The stats are good across they're average across the board. It doesn't seem like it's too overpowered. Missile strength is pretty high on it, I will say that. But overall, this is a fantastic unit. We're now at the first unit I actually kind of didn't like, and when I first saw this mod, I thought this would be the one I would definitely like. As I've said in other videos, I do not like the glow effect on units a lot, but overall, I've got to say, everything else on this looks really good, like the accessory pieces and everything else. It looks phenomenal. I just don't like the glow effect. So that's just my thing on it. Even the guy up top, the rider, looks really great. Range, missile strength extremely high on this guy. Like, oh, this one's actually overpowered. I've always enjoyed Stegodons because they're like massive mobile tank platforms, but this one might take the cake as my favorite. Has a large crossbow 3-shot, has blow darts up top, has an ability, it calls down like a blade attack thing that goes through the sky. I mean, this thing is phenomenal in every direction, and on top of that, it's great in melee. So yeah, just to me, big fan of this unit. It's amazing. I will run this in every army I play as Lizardmen. The 4 temple towers that are going to be in this mod are really what diversify the Lizardmen faction here. These units here really change the game on just how you're going to play with Lizardmen, because they're kind of like flying super weapons. They have different buffs, attacks, things they do, but overall they're just super overpowered, and you're going to build all your armies around them. And I'm just a big fan of them though. They look phenomenal. They look good in combat, and this is probably the lowest tier 1 in my opinion compared to the rest. We're at the second Ancient Temple Tower, which I'm even more of a fan of because I like the coloring on this one. And there is a warning on this. There's going to be a very large amount of flashing coming up, so flashing warning now. So if you have an issue with flashing. But overall, this unit looks phenomenal, has a good range attack, has a good special ability attack. Like, this is great. I would definitely run this more than the green one, just because I'm more aggressive in nature, but overall, really good. I said the 4 temples earlier, but really, this temple is just hilarious because you don't expect the way it's going to attack is how it attacks. This one's actually, it's more for like buffing the units around it than actually being, you know, dealing out damage and everything like that. Its weapon strength is really high. You'll see in combat, it has a lot of different things that hit around it, and it also has these hilarious looking arms that you're going to see here in a minute. But overall, I do like the unit. It's just really quirky. This is a really quirky unit, guys. If this was a classic RTS like the old school Command & Conquers, this right here would be the super weapon for the Lizardmen faction. Massive flying fortress that can summon some units and also has this super strong attack. Which missile, you look at it, missile strength, okay, 162 range. It doesn't even look like it's that good. Watch when it hits a unit and you're going to change your mind completely. This is a phenomenal unit, and it's overpowered also though. The Lizardman Mage Lord actually gets a mount in this mod, and I really enjoy that. And it looks phenomenal too. Like this is a great mount, and it comes with any of the variants, so it doesn't matter which school of magic you select for your Lord here. You can have the same mount with him, and I really like it because it adds a lot to it, and it makes your mage unit a lot more tanky. So big fan of this. I would never see a reason why you wouldn't want to run this mount, especially for this unit, and I think it just makes it a more viable option. Okay, the Lizardmen were good, but let's be honest, we're at the main star of the show, the Tomb Kings, just because there's just more units to show off here, and they're kind of over the top, I'll be honest. First up, we're starting with the Tomb King Generic Lord, and he has a mount. This is a mount for him. It is a little janky on the recording. I've tried recording this a few times, so I don't know if it's animation jank or if it's actually me, but I could not get it to be smooth on the idle animations, only in combat. But overall, big fan. We're now checking out some heroes here. We have a Halberd Infantry Tomb Prince. It's actually just there's other Tomb Princes, so I mean this is just kind of like a different design for it. I do like his weapon. He actually does throw it, which is I think pretty cool. It does have a ranged attack, and his missile strength is pretty high. But overall, you know, I really do enjoy this unit. I like the design on it. I feel like they did a lot better job on the Tomb King units than they did the Lizardmen units on how they look. So it's just really good. I won't lie, I actually like this hero more because I like the design of the weapon and everything. You know, to have that construct movement, you know, there's no movement, and then it has like a set movement it does for its attacks. I just think those look so good in combat. I will admit, them just cutting down all these skinks probably just adds to it. But again, this is a more melee-focused lord, no ranged attack here, and it's a really great hero unit, in my opinion. I would definitely run at least one of these probably in my army, probably this one more than the last. We have a mount here for the Leech Priest. When you add the mount on, for some reason it takes the name away, but it is the same exact hero that already exists, but they're just adding a mount to it. And I've got to say, I do like this mount a lot. I'm just sucker for like really well designed black and gray kind of looks, and it looks really great with the armor on top and him sitting up top. So I would think this would be a great idea for a wizard, because a mount should either be adding on tankiness or giving you mobility. So I think this would be really great for a wizard. And we have an amazing mount for the Necrotect hero. This mount, I mean, this is probably one of the best looking mammoths I've seen modded in. I mean, just the coloring, the gold, the white, the black, the armor, the tusks. I mean, everything about this. I mean, even its trunk, they did a phenomenal job. This is probably one of the best designed mammoths I've seen in Total War Warhammer 3. So, huge fan. They've got me right there. I think this adds a lot of tankiness and gives you some really good charging options. This unit here is actually probably, if I look at just infantry, this might be one of my favorites, just because I'm a sucker for that weapon. Man, that thing just looks amazing being swung in combat. It's a great design, just a big hefty heavy blade. I'm honestly just a huge fan of this, really liked it. And it looks good in combat. It's a 3-tier unit, has good stats. I mean, I would definitely run this, and I think this would still stand out in the regular Tomb Kings roster as a good unit. Everything hits in waves with me, so I mean, I'm going to say this is probably one I didn't like as much. Even though I will say they look good in combat, though. They do look good. They look good in general. I just couldn't see myself running them as a ranged unit at all. So I know that between that last one and this one, I'm going to pick the last one every single time. This is a tier 2 unit, and it is cheaper. So, I mean, I just feel like I wouldn't run this unit. That's the feeling I have toward it. But it looks great. This is a phenomenal looking unit. This was one of those sleeper units, and the next cavalry unit's in the same way pretty much. And by the way, guys, don't trust the tier system on this. I'm pretty sure some of these that are supposed to be tier 3 or tier 2 and tier 2 or tier 3, so they might be mixed up on that, so don't trust that. Look at stats. But overall, these two units, this one and the next one coming up, they're both cavalry, and they both did a phenomenal job in combat. Way better than I expected, and I would for sure run these, and I think this would actually add on more cavalry for Tomb Kings. It always surprises me whenever a unit like this will come in. I will have zero expectations for it, and I'll be like, dang, that actually did really good in combat. That was actually a really good unit. So it surprises me. And I will say this, you can tell that they really do enjoy the Tomb King faction, I feel like, more than the Lizardmen faction, or maybe certain modders do, because they did really great work on this. And comparing Lizardmen and Tomb Kings, I do feel like Tomb Kings have a very good edge, just on the design, just everything, quality pretty much. Another really good monstrous infantry unit, because you can never have too many. These guys, their blades are really good. They look good in combat. I did prefer the large bladed one more than this one, and probably not from a gameplay perspective, probably more of just I like the visuals on it. But this is a good one too. Out of the three, I would rank this probably second best, and the one with the ranged weapon as the third best. But still, really good unit, good stats. I would run it. A couple of unique monsters coming up that I don't really think I just didn't really enjoy them. But the scarabs here, the sacred scarabs, I get they do kind of fit like Egypt, you know, Pharaoh's tomb. I get it. I get how they fit in. I've watched The Mummy, but you know, I just don't really. They don't look that good in combat, especially the ones that are really dark. This one at least has a ranged attack, but just overall not a big fan of this unit. Like this unit right here, it's just this is too dark. Like, I just don't like it. I mean, I don't know. Y'all are probably gonna be like, oh man, we really like that unit. I'm gonna feel like a jerk, but I'm just not a big fan of this unit. I mean, they're too similar. Their coloring is just different from each other. And I don't feel like they add enough uniqueness to be apparent. I mean, I feel like they could have done something else instead of these to put into the Tomb King faction. But okay, that's my rant. I'm a sucker for mammoths. One can never have too many mammoths in one's life. But this is a really good unit here. Again, large mammoth unit. You know, you've got the health. Leadership's pretty good. Ammunition for the guy up top. He shoots like flaming arrows. It's very limited. I mean, like, you're not using this thing for range power, okay? Like, you're using this thing to charge, as you're going to see. But overall, every faction could use a mammoth. Just tune every mammoth to every faction, and I'm go for it. We're at the section that really sealed the deal with the Tomb King dominance in the spotlight. The large monsters are phenomenally designed and how they look. Just a really big fan. But this guy here, as you can see, multiple arms. He has the wings. He has that tail. He moves a lot in combat. It's kind of hard to shoot him in really good combat, but I've got to say, he's a good unit. Weapon strength super high. You're really going to enjoy these coming up sections if you like large monster units. My least favorite out of all the large monster units, just because, I don't know, maybe I'm just never a fan of this style, you know, the four legs. You know, I prefer a two-legged large, you know, creature compared to a four construct. But it does okay. I mean, you know, you're going to check it out and see what you think. I do like the animation on it, though, when it singles a unit out, and you're going to see that. I will say that. Probably one of the coolest animations, because I would not want to be on the receiving end of those blades. Always a fan of large artillery monster pieces. As you can see here, another bow one. They all kind of use the same basic skin to, to do this animation, but it looks really good. I like the color glowing effect to it, so it does have its uniqueness to it. And on top of that, I think every faction needs like one really good artillery piece, no matter what. So this adds a lot of versatility to the Tomb Kings faction as a whole. So yeah, great addition, great addition. I only showed off these guys in melee combat. As you can see, they have spells. So, I mean, there's abilities and spells for these guys. There's a lot that I probably could have made an entire video just about these units just to show every single spell, every single thing about them. But obviously, I wanted to fit everything in. And I will say this, I did like this one a lot. It's not my favorite. Again, they did a great job with the design, the set pieces, and the weapon. Just overall, this is a really good unit. So, great job to the modders. As we get more expensive, we're getting closer and closer to my favorite ones in this mod. Really big fan of this guy. I like his scorpion style piece he's holding with the purple and pinkish purple. I like that coloring a lot. I like it more than the blue. So I think that just because of the coloring option, and on top of that, if you've seen his weapon, his scepter weapon spear, there's actually like a black gemstone in the middle. They did a great job on this. Like, the modders put so much detail work. I would be curious how many hours it took. If you look close at the thumbnail, you're probably going to recognize this guy, and this is my favorite unit in this entire mod, with Lizardmen and Tomb Kings. I just really loved his design. I love the coloring. I love the glow effect coloring, and I also like just his set pieces. I just feel like there's a lot of detail here, but really what won me over the most is his weapon design. The skulls, the shape of the blade, everything about it, phenomenal job by the modders. I would have this in every single Tomb King army I have. This guy's design is going to look familiar for a whole different reason, but I will say this, he looks really great. I like the coloring that instead of doing black, they kind of did like a purplish on him, and the white really does stand out on the legs, and you can kind of see like the skulls. And overall, just a great piece. You can see where they brung stuff from the earlier modded unit, and they brung it over to this model, but it still looks really, really good. You have some good spells, good abilities, and overall, he's just a powerhouse on legs. And this is the most expensive unit in the mod, and I don't know, I just wasn't the biggest fan. I mean, to be honest, yeah, it looks good. He has a double pole arm weapon. I mean, there's a lot of work. You can see it put into this, but I just didn't really like his design. Maybe it's his fighting animations, because I just don't like them as much. But overall, though, I mean, he is a good unit. He is the most expensive one here, but it's very, very, very close. So none of these are very far apart. The next video up will be the Kislev and Khorne Great Harmony Sentinel Mod Spotlight. So don't forget to check that out when it's released, and I will catch all of you next time. Thank you for watching the entire video. You are amazing.